Welcome to Charlotte Honey Company. Spring's coming, got a lot of boxes you gotta start building. So I'm going to build a couple table saw sleds, specifically for medium boxes and deep boxes. And what I've done, I would like this. Real quick and easy to do. It's set up, not adjustable, so this will only build medium B boxes. Now I want to build one for the deep, so I don't have to keep messing around with the dado. We're going to start off. We're going to rip some plywood, build our front and back fences. This will be our front fence. I'll glue these two pieces together. I'll be right back. We're going to glue up the front fence now. Nothing fancy, a little tight bond 2. Lots of glue.
Sound stripe. Sound stripe.
Close. Of course, you gotta have the plants.
Sound stripe.
Alright, well that front fence is gluing up. We're going to make the back fence. I'm just going to rip 2 5-inch strips out of this plywood. Nothing exciting, watch your fingers. Same process as before. Now we're just going to glue these two together. Come back when that's done. Fences are drying up, all in clamp, so now what we're going to do is make some runners for the bottom of the table saw sled. Slid my rip fence over to 3/8, these handy little setup blocks. You just slide those in and make sure you're good to go. This is a thin rip. I only need 18-inch runners. So because these are 3/4 inches wide, they fit perfectly in my miter slots. And so I'll glue and screw these to the bottom of the sled, and I can run them in my miters now. And with one piece, I've got enough to do both sides. So I'll get these cut to size. All right, over to the miter saw. Open the dust collection. Hey, look at that. Can see what the heck I'm doing. Set my stop block to 18 inches. And we'll turn on the dust collection. 2 runners. All right, Matt. This part's actually pretty easy. So here's our panel. I didn't cut this. I already had this pre-cut from when I made the first one. So it's the same size as the one I showed you earlier. It's 25 by 18. So we're going to run our blade down back into the saw, and we're going to make a mark on our sled. So the sled's 25, so I made a mark at 12.5. That tells me where the center of this blade is, and then I set my fence to 12.5. So now when I butt up against the fence, my center mark lines up with the blade. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these runners, double stick tape. This stuff's awesome. Way this way. Drop there.
Sound stripe.
So next thing we're going to do, I'm going to get some washers. You can use dimes. I don't have any dimes in the shop. So I'm going to put a couple washers in the miter slots. That's going to lift the blades or the runners up, so that they'll make contact with the table saw sled. So now they're just proud of the table.
Sound stripe.
Go slow and easy when you do this part. Put up to the fence and go right to the back edge of the table saw and set it down on our runners and push down. Now everything should be square. Release the fence and pull this right up out of the channel. Just like such. All we have to do is countersink, drill and countersink a couple screws and get those permanently attached to this table. As promised, real simple, drill and screw. Still waiting on the glue to dry, and then I'll show you how we're going to mount the fences. Front fence is out of clamps. Took and made sure all the ends were even. So what we're going to do now, we're going to turn our sled around so the front hangs off. So get to it. And
Sound stripe. Sound stripe.
now we have a front fence. We'll get that back fence on and we'll make some cuts. And I'll show you how we're going to do that. Hang on. So off camera, I got the back fence out of clamps. Got it all smoothed up. Temporarily screwed it to the table saw sled. I've got one screw in each end. Now what I'm going to do is make multiple passes through the sled. And essentially, almost looks like we're going to cut it in half. But our blade is only going to come up 3/4 inches above the top of the table saw sled. So it'll be up in here somewhere. It's a 3/4 inch dado stack. I've switched that out already. I'm just going to take multiple passes.
Sound stripe. Sound stripe.
While I was off camera, I cut a 3/4 inch block by 3/4 inch. That's going to fit in the groove, and then we'll be able to measure over, put another groove where we're actually going to stick this block for our box joint jig. So I have my key that fits in the slot here. I gave it a sanding and fine-tuned it. So what we want to do is we want to cut a slot in our back fence over here. So remember, I temporarily screwed this fence on, so we have screw holes to mark everything. So I can put that fence exactly back where it was. So now we're going to take the fence off and we're going to slide it over. I'll show you here. Save those screws. All right, fence is loose. So now we're going to slide this back over. That's what I cut this one for. Yeah, we got that figured out. Now we're going to cut a new groove right here so that we can slide our peg in there and secure it. And we'll put a backer board on so we don't get tear out back here. And once the blade stops, we'll slide the fence back over and we'll put our peg in there and secure it. I'm going to do a little test cut. See where we ended up. It's usually never perfect, but maybe we'll get lucky.
Soundstripe. Soundstripe.
Almost through. Look at that. Not bad for the first try. These boards are pretty warped, but spacing's good. They fit in there good together. Not too tight, not too loose. Once you put glue in those, they'll swell up a little bit. Nice fit to it. No movement. Call that a winner. Now what we'll do is secure this block down to the sled. And the good thing about the longer block is when I'm batching out boxes, I could put 3, I could do 4, 3 fits my hands better, but I can do 3 pieces at a time, so it cuts the time out quite a bit. So I'll go ahead and get this fence secured. I'll get the tabs secured, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a safety block on the back, because obviously that blade comes through the back here, and my pinkers are there. So what I do is I take a couple 2x4s, glue them together, and then I'll glue them to the back of the sled. And not only does that protect my fingers, because the blade, once I push forward and hit the stop, this will all be covered up by 2x4s, and it also funnels the dust down into the table saw so that I don't end up with this while I'm cutting. So I'll be back to finish gluing up. We're just going to put a little round over on the edge where my hands are going to be. All right, wrap up on the table saw sled. A couple things I want to go over that probably weren't real clear in the video. Once you mount your rear fence to the panel, nice and flush on the ends, you're going to run your dado through, and you're going to make this cut in the back fence right here. Then we're going to take the fence, take the 2 screws out of the bottom of the fence. We're going to take this fence and we're going to slide it over to my left, and we're going to put a block in the slot that we cut, and then we're going to have an extra block that we've cut. We're going to lay that right next to the block that's in this cut right here, and we're going to line the fence up so that now the blade is going to come through where this one is. So 2 block widths, 1 in the original cut, and then you're going to put your spare block just to the right of it, and then the fence will now align with the edge of that. That's going to give you the cut where this key slides into. So then you're going to take that and slide it in there, make that cut, and then you're going to shift your fence back and put those 2 screws back in the original hole. That's going to give you this right here. So you'll have a cut in your back fence here, and you'll have a cut in your back fence here. That's where you slide your key in. That's all there is to that. We have the block on the back, so that keeps your fingers safe. You can see how that cut is up into there, and that will also channel all the sawdust down into the table saw for better dust collection. And that's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed the build. If you have any questions at all, let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer them. If you'd like me to film something a little more specific in greater detail, I could do that. Just leave me some comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button for me if you would. Thanks. Till next time.
Soundstripe.